Hey, what's up, everyone? This is SojuTalk, your weekly shot at K-pop. We're coming at you with a super spicy episode 119, and you are joining us for the 2020 K-pop year in review. I'm Doug, and joining me today we got Warren.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And Anita.
Hello.
And as a quick reminder, check out SojuTalk on your favorite podcast platform, sub to us on YouTube, and join the SojuTalk Discord and be a part of the nation. All right, real talk. This episode's being recorded on December 16th, so about 2 weeks before it drops. So keep that in mind if something significant happens that we don't cover in the last 2 weeks of December, something like that. Yeah, so we had a busy recording schedule this week. We recorded the award show on Sunday, and then we recorded our normal episode as we normally do on Monday, and now we're recording on a Wednesday. But that's just how it is. And then next week, you're either gonna have something special or we're just gonna take a week off. So it is what it is. But now it is time to review 2020 in the world of K-pop. So, you know, the thing that always happens in K-pop is we get debuts and disbandments. So let's start with debuts. Anita, what boy groups debuted in 2020?
A whole lot of them, but
Yeah.
we've got a list here. So first off, we have BAE173, Gravity, Dakubi or DKB, Drippin', Elast, Enhypen, Ghost 9, Lucy, MCND, P1 Harmony, T1419, TOO, Treasure, Universe or UNVS, and WeI.
There were, 2020 is a weird year. I think everyone
Yes.
can say that now. And one would think it's a bad year for the world. Maybe we don't debut groups. Nope. Everyone was like, yo, we got to get a group out there in 2020, y'all.
Now is the time, apparently.
So many groups. I think the most notable ones on this list are probably like Gravity and Hype and Treasure. Those are the three
Yes.
big standouts
Big
for sure.
names.
But then there's a lot of other ones that had pretty good years as well. Like DKB had a good year. MCND, Ice Age, people really like that song.
Yes.
TOO appeared on Road to Kingdom.
Yeah.
Lucy
true,
the
true.
band, I kind of like what they're doing. Drippin', WeI. And there's a lot of big companies also drop groups, right? So you think of like in Hypin, they're under the big hit umbrella, B-Lift, that kind of thing, right? You have Gravity Starship, Treasure YG, WeI, I think is the We Entertainment, that's where Johan's from.
Yes.
FNC has a group,
yeah.
Maru. It's crazy this year.
It almost feels like it's harder to find a company that didn't drop a boy group this year.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can think of SM, and I can think of JYP, and besides those two,
Yeah.
Hey.
I think this has a lot of implications for the next couple of years, obviously, right? Because
Yeah.
these groups are going to be fighting because, you know, rookie groups are at the tier. I think the bigger groups, you kind of put them by themselves, right? Because they're going to have success, I think, regardless of what happens. But some of the smaller companies, it's like there's going to be a big fight in the rookie realm in order to get up to mid-tier.
Yep.
We'll have to see who actually makes it through because it's going to be competitive for
Right.
sure.
Normally, I feel like, especially in an economy like this, I feel like more competition is usually as consumers, we're gonna get better products. But here, it feels almost too saturated. Almost.
We almost got clown car going on, right? Like too many clowns in the car.
Clown car. Yeah.
I ain't saying they're clowns though. But girl groups
no,
though,
no.
Warren. Which girl groups debuted in 2020?
Well, Doug, I'm glad you asked. We had aespa debut, Bling Bling debut, Black Swan, Bodo Pass, Signature, Lunar Solar, Maka Maka, Red Square, Secret Number, Stacy, Weekly with a Weekly, and a Woo Ah with two exclamation marks.
Weekly. All right. So I think the most notable out of the girl group debuts are probably Weekly. aespa, Stacy, Secret Number, and probably Signature are the five big standouts
Yeah.
here.
I think so, yeah.
Particularly with girl groups, I think the fact that SM did anything this year was cool, right? Like,
A lot of
aespa's the
talks.
one group out of all of these where I have zero clue what's going to happen next with them. You know, they made a lot of big statements and promises before they debut with the whole cultural technology. They were talking about like nanoparticles and stuff, like a VR world.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wait and see with that one. That's like a unfinished big project, I think, with that. But other groups
Right.
that Stacy group, Black Eyed Peas song. If you're watching this, you remember last week that Warren wanted them to be the rookie girl group of the year, right?
Yes,
So that was a thing. and then of course weekly. Now Play M, obviously A-Pink had a really strong. They're still having a run, but I think we think of like the No days as kind of the prime A-Pink.
The big hits.
heydays.
Yeah, the heydays of it. But like weekly, at least on our Discord and in the communities we're on, has a lot of hype going right now. For sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens. But all right, solo artist. Doug, that is me. I'm going to now say which solo artist. So the first grouping are people that are exclusively solo artists right now. So that is Hochanmi. You remember her from Produce Season 1?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
Jongeup, who was formerly of BAP. Eun-sang. So you remember him from Produce.
Yep.
Natty, Ong Song-woo, also from Produce. And then Wonho. And then we had a bunch of other people who are already associated with groups also make solo debuts. So that's Akmu Suhyun, A-Pink's Namju, B2B's Eungwang and Seungjae, EXO's Kai and Suho, Highlights Dojun, I believe, Lovely's Sujong, Mamamoo Solar, Oh My Girl's Yua, TVXQ's Max or Changmin, Uptension's Usuk, Victon Sungu, and then Vix's Ken.
That's a big lineup.
Yeah.
That's a big lineup.
Yeah.
So I think something that I personally really like, Wonho's thing, with the ab window, that was kind of cool. I think Natty's been putting in work, and it's kind of interesting because her storyline is she didn't make 16.
Right.
She went back to Thailand, I believe. She came back from idol school, didn't make it there, but then CJ signed her anyway.
Yeah.
Just had
that's
an
a-
interesting narrative.
Yeah, and then like other people like Ong and Eun-sang, there's probably a lot of hype there for them. And then in terms of the people who are already associated with stuff, Akbu Suhyun, that was kind of cool. For me personally, Solar, I like that. Yua's debut was really cool.
Yes.
I know Max, that chocolate song that I don't really like, but Warren was down for that one. Those are the ones that stuck out to me. Oh, and Kai, of course. Kai's was pretty big.
Most
as well.
recently, yes.
Any standouts for you guys though?
We had Mr. Han Seung-woo from Victon.
Yeah.
Just very, memorable. Very memorable.
What about you, Anita?
I think for me, the success that Yua had from her solo debut was very pleasantly surprising because I wasn't sure. She's a really great dancer, but I didn't know how much of a all-around performer she could be, and it definitely showed off her expertise. I feel like watching her stages and like her performances was really interesting. So I'm thinking she's probably gonna keep doing this on and off. I can see this in the future for sure.
Who would have expected her to win with her solo debut Bon Voyage? That in itself was kind of crazy to me.
Yes.
It was crazy. We discussed this kind of in depth last week, but I feel like it was almost a setup towards like the entire success of Oh My Girl in general. Like and that whole like arc this year I felt like was very interesting.
Yeah,
to watch.
I think they did a really good job of translating how they were on Queendom into the group stuff into Yua, and they're still riding that high for sure.
Right.
All right, Disbandments though, there weren't that many notable ones. There were of course a lot of Disbandments for probably very small companies that aren't super notable, but the bigger ones, 1 to 9, I believe that was a scheduled disbandment though because they were a part of some kind of show. Hina Pia, Neon Punch, and then of course the X1 disbandment, and I think ANS was the other one that was kind of notable as well. The Hina Pia was kind of tragic, that one.
Sad.
And then I think at the same week, ANS, which I forgot to put on the list, but I remember they disbanded, and there was issues with the management there.
Right.
And then of course the X1, the whole like BS with
Scandal.
that. Yeah.
That was
That one-
big.
I think that one's the most unfortunate because like I'm a Wiz one, right? And
Right.
the scandal has had probably negligible effects because like have you seen how many albums we sold and how well we're doing? And I think with X1 they sold so many albums with their debut last year. I think it was over 600,000, that I think that they had a strong enough fan base to sustain a run even through this issue. Really sucks for them though, because winning those type of shows, number one, takes a ton of effort on the contestants' part, but then you're pretty much assured to have a good 2-3 year run, however long they let you in that group. It's a big opportunity, and they just lost it.
The crazy thing from like the members' perspective is like, think about it this way, right? Like you worked really hard, you got the final reward, you were like so excited, so happy about yourself, and then it just crumbles down.
Poof, right?
Yeah.
And it's not your fault at all because you had no clue.
No.
That's the
that
most
must be
unfortunate thing.
incredibly heartbreaking.
All right, so that was the first segment. Let's do the next one. So this is the monthly highlights. So we're gonna go through each month, talk about the notable songs, and then talk about the major news events. Of course, this is not fully inclusive, so we're not gonna talk about every single song ever released. We're sorry if we missed the song that you really liked, but these were the ones that we felt were notable. Additionally, it took a lot of research to do this, so some of my like songs might be put in the wrong date or something, but like bear with me on that. So January, right? I included one song from 2019, Red Velvet's Psycho, which was dropped on the 23rd of December.
Yes.
I consider that a 2020 song based on like the way K-pop functions.
Right. Yeah, basically.
And then the other notable songs, SF9's Good Guy, AT's Answer, Zico, Any Song, and then we got the BTS Black Swan, that dance video, the one where they had the dancers and they had like the contortionist stuff and they were in like that abandoned mall. That was really cool. And then in terms of news stories, the biggest one was probably Produce 101 scandal and X1's disbandment. And then we had Wendy from Red Velvet. She got injured at Gayo Daejeon and she's still not fully recovered from that. EXO's Chen's marriage and fiance pregnancy stuff. That was in January.
Big news.
And then we had that BTS world tour announced that was supposed to be massive and groundbreaking. You know, January, the news was kind of spicy, right? Like
Truly.
Yeah.
like ups and downs, for sure. Like the tour was a big hype, but then we had a bunch of like oofs, and then the Chen stuff was just surprising.
That was a big shocker. And then like music wise too, like Psycho felt like an amazing ending to their trilogy. And then we were all excited until the whole Wendy thing happened. Any song popped off, right? Like
that was
the TikToks.
Right.
We also have to think about when we were in January, it's like, oh man, Wendy's injured, sucks for X1, but we were like still looking really forward to like all the crazy stuff in 2020 as a whole, because you gotta think, we had the Zico thing popped off and we had that world tour, and I was like, yo, we gonna get so many world tours, everything was looking hype, and y'all know what's gonna happen in a couple months.
Little
But
did we know.
Anita, hit us with February though.
All right, so for February, the notable songs were Everglow, Dun Dun, The Boys Reveal, Pentagon, Dr. Bebe, Ice One's Fiesta, and BTS's On. And then for notable news, we had Ice One's confirmed for comeback after Produce 101 scandal, then Mina's return to Twice after her break, and then Map of the Soul 7 explodes. So big sales for BTS.
Yep, that's my wording there. Mina did not write explodes. If we have to break this down, we did not know if IZ*ONE was even going to return, right?
That's true.
Yes, a lot.
I remember having so much anxiety of that.
Yeah,
what?
You had a solo video.
I remember that's one of our most viewed videos of all time. Go check that one out. But Fiesta, remember Fiesta, everyone. If you're on the Discord, you know that meme. Long live Fiesta. You know, they got snubbed by Warren. You know, that's a thing. But I think the most notable thing that happened in February was obviously Map of the Soul 7 and On, because some people might not be the biggest fan musically of that album, but you can't deny how successful that album was as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of albums they sold.
It just left a huge crater on the earth, you know?
That was a game changer for sure. That album
was a big game changer. Yeah. I remember my coworkers who don't listen to K-pop at all, and they were like, "Yo, Warren, I heard you doing that podcast thing. I heard BTS is coming back. You gonna talk about it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I already did." And I was like, "Wow, even you guys know about it. This is crazy."
Also, if you remember, this was about the time we did Certified Spicy. We started it, and I believe like The Boys Reveal and Pentagon's Dr. Baby were some of the first few songs, but we'll cover all the songs further into this episode. But Warren, hit us with March.
On March, we had NCT 127's Kick It, ITZY's Wannabe, Kang Daniel's To You, as well as Winner's Hold. In terms of news, we had Big Bang renewing their contracts with YG Entertainment, Pledis Entertainment flying a lawsuit against Ju Kyeol-kyung or Ju Chie-chie. Multiple concerts and tours and comebacks. That's right, guys. It was canceled and postponed starting in March due to the entire coronavirus 19 situation, which included the BTS World Tour.
All right, I'm not laughing because of the Corona stuff, because I meant to write Pledis files a lawsuit against Kyungkook, and Warren said Pledis flies a lawsuit against her. You know,
I thought it's an actual term that people use.
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
It's a thing now, so okay.
All right, he flew a lawsuit. But all right, songs. Kick It was big. Let's be real. That was massive.
Oh man.
After any song, that was, I think, like the next notable like viral TikTok song was probably Kick It. Wannabe was big.
Yeah.
And Winter's Hold was probably at least the SojuTalk Crew's favorite music video.
Yes.
One of our favorite music videos of the year.
Yep.
And then, you know, the Big Bang renewing contracts wasn't like the most notable thing ever. And also the lawsuit, we don't even know what really happened from that. But obviously COVID hit at this point, and that was the main thing. Man, I had tickets for the BTS World Tour and that G-Idol concert. Man, kind of salty about those. I still have the BTS ones. Those ones are still held for whenever they eventually have that. But
Oh, wow.
then we had April. You know, we were like, what's going to happen? But the industry doubled down and was like, if we can't do tours, we're just going to start releasing tons of songs, was essentially what they said. But in April, we had G-Idol's Oh My God, April's Dum Dum, Gravity's debut with Break All the Rules, GOT7's Not By the Moon. I was almost going to say the lyric. Oh My Girl's Nonstop, Chungha's Stay Tonight, NCT Dream's Riding. And in terms of news, we had NCT Dream comeback and reorganization confirmed. SM/Naver launched the Beyond Live platform. Monsta X's Kihyun and Ujusonyo's Bona had those dating rumors. You remember that?
Oh, right.
Irene and Sugi Red Velvet Unit announced, and Road to Kingdom begins. So this was that that point of the year where like, all right, COVID's a thing. And the K-pop industry was like, what are we going to do about that? And they just started pumping out content all over the place.
Online stuff.
Gravity debuts during the pandemic, essentially. Oh My Girl's Nonstop, which started one of the biggest storylines of the year with their rise. NCT Dream, Anuta was really happy about that. That SM/Naver Beyond Live platform, that was clearly an audible because of the pandemic. They're like, we need to find partners to launch online concert platforms. Let's do it, right? And then we got the Irene Sugi unit, which turned out really well for them. And then Road to Kingdom was one of the other biggest things of the year, for sure. Do you guys have anything else to say about April? You know?
I don't know. I feel like for some reason, I remember everything that was happening at this time, right? But because cases were already like really popping off further in April, it seems like so long ago. But as so many things were just starting, like the online concerts, those type of online platforms for artists, and then Road to Kingdom began. So the Irene Sugi unit, I feel like I forget that it started at this point because there was so much going on in just international news.
April really on top of that, April felt like back when like everyone was like, this is the thing. What are we gonna do? Let's just do what we do, but like better. And then later on, we see a shift into like, oh, let's just do it online kind of deal. But in general, April still felt like, oh, like we have a big mountain. Are we gonna walk over it? Are we gonna walk around it? Like, are we gonna dig a hole through it? Like, what are we gonna do? That kind of deal. That was kind of, I remember.
So for reference, I have I managed 2 YouTube playlists. One was 2019 K-pop playlist, and I have a 2020 one. So I've tried to put most K-pop music videos, like notable ones in here. The 2019 one has 278 music videos, right? The 2020 one has 402. That's over a 25% increase.
That output.
Yeah. That says a lot about how K-pop handled not handled COVID, but how they reacted to it.
Yeah.
Right.
But now we're in May. Anita, hit us with May.
Yes. So for songs, we had IU's 8 featuring Suga, Day6's Zombie, TXT Tomorrow by Together, Can't You See Me, NCT 127 with Punch, August D, which is Suga, with De Chuta, and Monsta X Fantasia. And then as far as news, K Contact 2020 Summer was announced. Big Hit confirmed as the new largest shareholder of Pledis Entertainment. And then the Pledis CEO, Han, had some fraudulent royalty news there as well.
Yeah, that was right after they got acquired. Like, you remember how sus that was? Like, it was like the week after. obviously the biggest. So K Contact online, that was an audible. Like we're gonna do it online. Obviously in person's more ideal, but they did what they had to do.
Right.
The biggest news was obviously Big Hit confirmed to take over well, not confirmed to take over, but like becoming the largest shareholder of Pledis, pretty much bringing them under the umbrella. That had been rumored, if you guys remember, for like multiple months, maybe 6 months, and then it finally happened.
Yes.
Right.
And we were like,
I feel like,
oh, go on.
No, I feel like up until this point, we were like, maybe Big Hit wants to be a big umbrella. Maybe Big Hit wants to be a big family of companies. And at this point, we were like, oh, if Big Hit wants to be the big puppies. Big Hit wants to be,
for sure. And
right.
So like, I remember like they acquired Source, right, in 2019,
right,
where G-Friend is, and we were like, all right, maybe they're gonna start taking in companies, but we even thought maybe they just needed Source so they could have girl group management, right?
Yeah, that was the
reason. So we weren't sure about that, but then once they took Pledis in, we're like, oh, they for real about this. In terms of music though, I use 8 featuring Suga was a big deal. That one got a perfect all kill. Day 6 is Zombie, especially during the pandemic. People really like that song. Dechita popped off too, I think for sure. That was a big solo release by Suga. But Warren, hit us with June.
In June, we had Cosmic Girl or WJSN's Butterfly, as well as IZ*ONE's Secret Story of the Swan, Doug's favorite IZ*ONE track. Stray Kids dropped God's Menu. 17 dropped Left and Right. Blackpink with How You Like That, kicking off their trilogy of songs. Sunmi with Borapipam. Hwaza with Maria, as well as Weekly's debut with Tag Me. In terms of the other news, we had BTS and Big Hit donating $1 million to Black Lives Matter. Lisa swindled by a former YG manager. Youngmin officially leaving AB6 after a series of controversies, as well as Island beginning its airing. You guys were so into Island, I swear.
Yes, we were.
It was good. We got it hyping out of it, man. It was worth. Musically,
to be frank, even though I didn't watch it, I saw you guys just hype over it, and I was like, man, this show is a mess. This is incredible.
I mean, it was a mess. They did some questionable and ethically gray things on the show, but it was fun, right, Anita?
It was a roller coaster, yes.
All right, music though. God's Menu, massive.
Yes.
That was massive for them. That's like, I think in the future we're gonna look at what was the point where they popped off. That's the song, right?
That's
the start for sure.
Honestly, before God's Menu, Stray Kids to me was like, they're nice. God's Menu was like, okay, they don't play. They're here to just. Yeah.
17's Left and Right. I think it's a very decisive song. You either like it or you don't. But it was one of those songs where they were clearly triple downing into the TikTok game. I don't think it was super successful. I think some people had TikTok fatigue by that point. Blackpink's How You Like That. That was a very important thing for Blackpink as a group, because we were like, if they don't do something big this year, like I think a lot of people were like essentially ready to write them off.
Yeah,
and this started off their good year. Also, Hwasa's Maria, not my favorite song, but definitely popped off in Korea for sure. And it just solidified Hwasa not only as big in the music game, but on variety too, because she's on everything now for sure.
Yeah.
I think Maria was the. Oh no, I was gonna say Maria was probably the top of that chart on the monthly chart that month. Yeah.
And then in terms of the news, obviously Island was big, but then the BTS and Big Hit's donation to Black Lives Matter was a big thing because it was reflecting more of what was happening globally for sure.
Yes.
And you remember K-pop had a lot of influences in that that kind of stuff with the hashtag stuff too, where they were taking over hashtags.
Yes.
That was a big deal. It was on like CNN and things like that. So K-pop was kind of seeping into a lot of things in the world this year. Global politics as well. All right, but July, we had the Irene and Seulgi Monster song. That was kind of cool. G-Friend's Apple, Somi, What You Waiting For, Ihai Holo, Sock 3 Beach Again, y'all, and then AT's Inception. Those were some, and I think we also got the Irene and Seulgi Naughty song as well in that.
The B-side, yeah.
That's true.
And then in terms of news, the AOA bullying controversy, that was kind of big. CJ got formally fined for its role in the Produce scandal, but I remember us being pissed that the fine was so little.
Yeah.
Blackpink's full-length album, which we eventually knew was called The Album, was announced. And then Mnet's Kingdom, which was supposed to follow up Road to Kingdom, was canceled for 2020. Now, in perspective, that's fine because of the groups we got for Kingdom in 2021.
Yeah,
But
it's hype again.
at the time, we were really pissed about that.
Yeah.
I think out of all the releases, obviously the Irene Sugi unit was cool, but SOC 3 was massive.
On the charts. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go on.
No, you can go.
Oh, okay. There's a tiny bit of a delay with you, so like the timing's not matching up perfectly. But I think SOC 3 was the biggest thing, and then obviously that AOA bullying controversy blew up. That was all over the place. I still don't think we have the final conclusion of that. Meaning, like it felt like even now, it just feels like a little bit unsettled still. Who really knows though?
Yeah.
Oh, Warren took a break. He's connecting again. Oh, he back. Hello.
Hopefully the delay is gone.
But what do you guys think of the songs of the news in July?
I think for me, what I saw or what I paid attention to the most was the news. And yes, for sure, the AUA news was a little bit of a shocker on my part because I wasn't like keeping a ton of attention and to AOA, and I feel like I kind of had some idea of where things were, and I thought it was okay because of their run in Queendom. But then seeing this stuff pop up at that time was like, oh no, like the behind the scenes that was going on and the reasoning for some members and them leaving was very disappointing, I think, and it was a bit of a upsetting news for sure for a lot of fans as well.
I think it had a big cultural impact in Korea, societal impact in Korea as well. As a lot of people were like, again, they were coming back and saying, oh, like, what is the mental health situation? How is the interaction between people? Are they leading good lives before having good careers? Like that kind of deal. And it was very unfortunate. The other thing that I kind of wanted to point. Oh yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
No, go. Finish what you're saying.
Oh, I was going to move on to G-Friend.
Okay, but before you get to G-Friend, I think I remember at that time the album, right? I remember all of us were saying we're not going to get hype until we literally have the A-track and the actual album being sold in stores. But at the same time, for it to get confirmed, we were pretty close to the real thing, you know? And I remember getting really hype, especially after the pre-release. How you like that? Yep, that one.
Yes.
I don't think we were the biggest fans of it, but I remember I grew to like it over time, and I still think it's really good now. But you were going to talk about G-Friend, Warren.
I think G-Friend's Apple, right? I think that's when I started learning a little bit more about what Big 8 wants to do with their acquired companies or Source Music in specific. Because G-Friend had 3 comebacks this year. One, they had the Crossroads, then they had Apple, then they had Mago. And I'm being very specific here because with Crossroads, they had more of a plot and like a narrative and like a concept and a world, you know, behind it. And I thought that was like a one-off thing. And then with Apple, it felt like they were going into a different conceptual direction. That from what you have seen before with G-Friend or from Source Music to be specific. So I think that seeing that development in Big Hit was like super interesting for me as well.
All right, Anita, August. Let us know what happened.
Yes, big releases for August were G-Idol's Dum Dee Dum Dee, Taemin's Two Kids, Treasure's debut with Boy, JYP and Sunmi's When We Disco, Super M's 100, Dreamcatcher's Boca, BTS's Dynamite, huge hit, Blackpink featuring Selena Gomez, Ice Cream, another big release as well. And then as far as news and events, AOA's Mina had an Instagram scare. SM and JYP also created Beyond Live Corporation. Red Velvet's Wendy had somewhat of a return to activities, and Hina Pia and ANS's Disbandment.
All right. I think the biggest things, obviously Dynamite is like...
Yes.
That was just massive. It's still massive. It won a music show like last week.
Right.
Yeah.
How's it still going? How's it still going?
At this point I really don't know. It's just crazy.
Wild.
That JYPX Sunmi thing was kind of the hint that we were going to get a musical trend. I remember us saying like, "Oh, they doing retro? Okay."
Disco-ish.
I know a lot of people loved Boca. Maybe the SojuTalk crew did not love it as much, but people were hype about Boca. Treasure's debut, it finally happened.
Yes, finally.
And then that A-Pink Selena Gomez thing. I know it might not have been everyone's favorite song, but the hype was massive. You remember for that?
Oh, crazy.
And then on the news side of things, and then Super M came back. And whenever Super M comes back, it's like, oh, they actually came back, you never really know with them. But in terms of the news, I know the AOA Mina stuff was scary.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing that happened, it might not be like a super notable thing, but SM and JYP coming together with Naver to do Beyond Live Corporation was a signal of what, I think we've called it in the past couple of months, the K-pop Cold War might be brewing, where people are trying to gain friends. That was really the signal of it, I think, right there. All right, Warren, hit us with September.
In September, we had Super M's Tiger Inside, Wonho's Open Mind, Taemin's Criminal, Stray Kids coming back with Backdoor, Fromis 9 with Feel Good, Everglow with La Di Da, The Boys with The Stealer, and Super M's One, Monster, and Infinity. Man, dope songs. In terms of news, though, we had Big Hit Stocks going public. That was a big thing. SM announcing the SM Institute. Big Hit announces their IT ambitions. Lots of big projects there. NCT 2020 Resonance project was confirmed and publicized, as well as BTS announcing their second album of 2020.
Yes.
Big year. Oh, sorry, big month.
This month was kind of crazy, right? So Wonho finally made a solo debut, right? Taemin's Criminal was, I think, the start of Taemin having a crazy 2020 as well.
Yeah.
Backdoor, they followed up Stray Kids with another good song. From Miss 9 finally came back. That was another thing, because they had been on hiatus forever.
Long time.
Because they were like a residual effect because of the idol school stuff was somewhat related to the produced stuff. Everglow's La Di Da. Some people really like the song. I think it's great. That was another one of those songs that was heading in a certain direction, right? That sound, right? And then the news. Obviously, Big Hit Stock going public was gigantic for K-pop as a whole. They're like $1 trillion or billions of dollar evaluation was nuts. And then they doubled down on being like, we a big company with that IT ambition stuff, right? Where they're saying like, our competitors are Kakao and Naver, not SM and JYP, right? Like that kind of thing. That was kind of nuts. And then on top of that, they're like, oh yeah, BTS, we can't do that world tour. We're going to hit you with another album.
Great.
And then finally, oh, go Anita.
I was going to say, when they announced that, I was really surprised because Map of the Soul 7 was pretty huge, like the number of tracks and production, and then gigantic. To do that again in the second half was really crazy for me.
I feel like one of it was a 17, 18 track LP and this was an EP, but like this was like when I realized that like, oh, okay, like BTS, like they aren't fully satisfied yet. Like they're still hungry, like they still want to go,
and then obviously the NCT 2020 project, we had like no clue what was going on at that point. Yeah. But that Resonance stuff turned out to be really big for them too, because I think without it, they just have a good year. But with it, they have a great year, for sure. All right, October. People started, I remember October was one of November where there was months where everyone and their mother came back.
Oh, yeah.
So in October, Blackpink, Lovesick Girls, Wakey Makey's cool. That is, and then Pentagon's Daisy right after that.
Yes.
Those are... And then we also had this beginning of the Resonance stuff. So NCTU's Make-A-Wish birthday song and From Home. We had Luna's Why Not, 17's Home Run, Mamamoo's Dinga, TXT's Blue Hour, Twice's I Can't Stop Me, Monsta X's Love Killer. And in terms of news, obviously Blackpink's The Album was massive. You remember that stuff where the Korean government pledged to protect underage celebrities and trainees?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the Big Hit Stock was announced in September, but it actually went public in October. So I think that's what that was. And then obviously Jonghyun had to sit out the Eyes Wide Open promotions. That Irene thing with her behavior that she had to apologize for.
Yeah.
And then we had the bit of an oof there for SM, but then they announced that Espo was happening. So, kind of crazy. October
Crazy
was
month.
nuts.
So
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
All right, the album's huge. Obviously, Twice coming back. I Can't Stop Me was another massive song. And then
Album.
yeah, like I remember thinking at a certain point in like September, October, November, I'm like, we're in a pandemic year, and these people are going absolutely ham with everything.
Yeah, can't stop them.
It was kind of nuts.
It felt like we got a lot more full-length projects this year than we normally do. Right? Like Blackpink dropped one, Twice dropped one, NCT had like two. You know, like BTS dropped one earlier. It was a year for full-length albums.
It was also like a lot of groups felt like they had full years because of a lot of groups started to do pre-releases and things like that, and other side content.
Right.
Or they would release a B-side music video after the fact, things like that, which normally doesn't happen. But October was kind of crazy. But also, the main thing for me in 2020, it feels like we were in quarantine, the first quarantine, like 3 days ago, and we're like, it's already December for us now. I don't know. I just feel like time went really quickly. Like I feel like the album dropped and we had that live stream that we did like 3 weeks ago, but it's been like almost 3 months. But we're now in November now, Anita. Hit us what happened in November.
Yes, so some big hits in November were Mamamoo's Aya, Taemin's Idea, G-Friend with Mago, Stacey's debut with So Bad, Akmu's Happening, aespa's big debut with Black Mamba, BTS's Life Goes On, NCT 90s Love and Work It, and as well as the Kai solo debut with GOT7's Last Piece, and in Hypen's debut with Give and Taken.
It's crazy.
Crazy title tracks here. And then for the news, Suga was recovering from a shoulder injury. Kang Daniel and Twice's Jihyo had some breakup news in this month as well. BTS released B, their album. Produce 101 had some more news with the manipulation victims being revealed, and BTS's historic Grammy nomination as well to wrap it up.
Bro,
Man,
November was crazy.
I feel like everybody and their mothers came back for October, and then their fathers came back for November.
Bro, look at this list. Like, what is this?
So much.
Man.
Second half, man.
Like, Mago was big, right? EDF
yeah.
for Taemin was big. We really liked Stacey's thing. The Akmu song was great. aespa's obviously super significant. We got the whole B album with Life Goes On.
Right.
NCT U, I think the 90s Love and Work It was like really when we were like, all right, they're having a massive year.
Yeah.
Kai's big. The two GOT7 tracks were good. And it, like every single thing on this list, right, was nuts. And then news, Suga sitting out was a pretty, like, I had no clue what he was going through at the time.
Same, I had no clue.
Honestly, the Kang Tae-jul Geo stuff was kind of insignificant relative to the other things that month. And then obviously BTS's Grammy nomination, big. And the produced manipulation victims revealed is kind of crazy
that was
that even
shocking.
happened.
That was incredibly unexpected. It just happened, and I was like, did that just happen? Did we just find out?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
November, though, was like something else. What were you guys' favorite tracks in November? I think
So
Anita's
Bad.
90s. Oh, so bad, Warren? Not happening?
Oh, wait, no, happening. Yeah.
Happening, right?
Yeah, I was
And then
so
I think-
salty. That's what it was. Man.
I think Anita would say 90s Love, right?
I don't know. To be honest, now that I look at this list, there were so many good releases. 90s Love is definitely up there. I really liked Taemin's Idea and like his whole comeback for that. But yeah, so many really good debuts as well as just in general comebacks.
I'm gonna say something. I wasn't super hyped for it then, but like I'm fully on the aespa hype train now.
Oh yes, you are.
So on it, yo. Stan Winter. That's all I'm gonna say. But Warren finally hit us with December.
And before I go into December, please note again that we're recording on December 16th. So half of the month it hasn't even happened yet. So things might change. But in the first 2 weeks of December, we had BoA's Better, NCT 2020's Resonance, IZ*ONE's Panorama, as well as Taeyeon's What Do I Call You? In other news, we had changes to Korea's enlistment policy. MMA and Mama award show happened. And then Uptension's Bero, 고결, Shao, and then Everglow's Iron and Shihan and Chungha. Chungha's not a part of Everglow, but you get the idea. They all tested positive for COVID-19.
Yes. The whole outbreak.
Yeah. It's still going on with that.
Still going.
In my background, if you hear like sirens and stuff, you know, like in my town, Santa comes around on a fire truck multiple times during the Christmas season. Yeah, we have like a Santa parade. It always happens. So if he does come by, if Santa comes by, you know, I like still believe in Santa because we get presents. You know, as we mentioned a couple weeks ago.
Why does Santa come like a whole week early?
Bro, he came like 5 days ago already, but there's a snowstorm, so maybe someone got hurt or it might be Santa. So I don't know which of the one it is. It might be one of the two. But all right, December. Bo Was Better did really well on our Spice chart.
Yes.
Panorama was they totally redeemed themselves from Secret Story of the Swan. Resonance was more like the crown jewel that they all came together. That was kind of crazy. Peak Warren and I in the back corner of the music video. You know, I'm standing behind Johnny with my trash bag on. And then finally, the Taeyeon song, What Do I Call You? We're probably gonna cover it in January once we get back. That is an amazing song though.
Really
that
nice.
is like I was thinking might be in my top 10 songs of the year, and it just came out.
Really?
Yeah.
I like it that
good?
much. Yeah. And then news changes to the enlistment policy. We're gonna have to see what happens with that going forward. Award shows are award shows. But then the COVID stuff happened in Korea again. They're over 1,000 cases a day.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of an oof. I'm surprised the industry hasn't really shut down more, but I hope everyone is staying safe with that. All right. Next section. Certified Spicy and Spice Cake. So we had two systems this year. One of them came and went within a year. So the first one started in episode 72, which was I think like February or the spring, something like that. And these are the songs that got certified spicy. So if you remember, to get certified spicy, all three of us had to like the song in order to get it.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard. So the songs that got it were G-Friend's Crossroads, The Boys Reveal, Pentagon's Dr. Bebe, BTS's On, NCT 127's Kick It, Winner's Hold, Chungha's Stay Tonight, August D's Dechita, Baekhyun's Candy, Uju Sonyo's Butterfly, Stray Kids God's Menu, G-Friend's Apple, Irene and Seoggi's Naughty, Yukika's Soul Lady, and Ihai's Holo. And if you want to see a summary of all of our episodes, it's in the description of all of our YouTube videos, I believe. So you could go check it out there. There is a summary. You know what song's missing from this list, Warren?
Oh my god!
There's like a party song or something, or like a a festival song. Oh, it's a fiesta.
No idea what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, that one didn't get it.
It's so begun.
I actually a couple days ago I was watching that music video again. Because I was going through a lot of girl group tracks for like mastering references. And I over time my opinion on Fiesta had softened up a little bit.
Okay.
Over time I was like, maybe I was too harsh on it. And then I was like really paying attention the other day, and I was like, nah, I think I still stand by what I said. So I mean, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? But
what you gonna do, brother? Oh, sorry.
What was that? I just want to. The song's still good. It's just like compared to the other songs on the list, I felt like it was a little.
Yeah. So out of this list, shout out to Yukika. She's kind of the weird one out of that list, right? She's not pure K-pop, but she's a
great album. Yeah.
She's a crew favorite, as I would say.
Yes.
All right, so we had that system, Certified Spicy. That came and went because I think we decided like it's kind of awkward when like two of us really like that song and then someone just doesn't like it and it gets dropped, right? So we have a new system, right? In episode 100, season 3, we released the Spice King thing, so that we have an internal chart now, and you have to top it to win. So it's pretty much like an in-house music show. So the songs that won Spice King, the first inaugural winner was ITZY's Not Shy, and then it followed up by BTS with Dynamite winning 3 times in a row, entering the Hall of Spice. Followed up by Stray Kids' Backdoor, From Miss Nine's Feel Good, Everglow's La Di Da, Blackpink's Lovesick Girls, Wakey Makey's Cool, NCT U's From Home, and then Twice went on a streak, winning 3 in a row with I Can't Stop You, so they also entered the Hall of Spice. We followed that up with Akmu's Happening, and then NCT U's 90s Love and Bo Was Better both won 2 crowns there.
Nice.
So close.
And then I think in January, once we're going to come back, we're going to reset the chart because like at that point, Bo Was Better has been out 6 weeks or something. So it's
been a while.
Bit far.
Yeah.
But if a song came out like that Taeyeon song, if we covered in the first episode, it does have eligibility for that Spice King chart.
That's true. I feel like the idea to shift from Certified Spicy into Spice King was a smart move. It felt like civilization. We were stepping forward. We were moving into a democratic system.
Yeah, because now we got a point system, and it comes out being like the fair thing, like the average of what we actually like. So, although I think like generally though, if you put something first, it gets third at least. Though I've kind of realized that.
I just want to point out one of us over here always goes last. Always kind of reconfigures her votes a little bit before putting out.
What are you talking about?
I might have given it away by saying her, but
yeah, it happened 2 weeks ago on the episode you guys had 2 weeks ago on episode 17.
It probably dropped as we were recording. Yeah, it's on the day we're recording. I mean, I think going back and looking at this big list of songs, right? Like we have 20, 30 songs on it. It's a great list.
I approve.
Yeah.
Look at all these songs.
If all these songs are on a playlist, I think there's like a couple I'd be missing. Like for me, Fiesta, Pentagon's Daisy. I've come over on that song now. The Stacy song I'm still into. But for the most part, this covers all the vast majority of the songs I thought were really good this year.
Yeah.
Right. I think this would make a perfect K-pop playlist for me. I would probably add 2 Rocket Punch songs, but to each their own, right?
Yeah, those came out. Wait, Bouncy was this year, right?
Oh dear.
Bouncy was in February, and Juicy was in August. How could you do this?
Wait, was Iceland Vampire this year? Let me look up. Was Vampire 2020? It was. Oh God. Okay, let's forget that whatever happened.
Oh, was Iceland Vampire this year?
It was this year, dude. Wait, what was Buenos Aires? It had to have been last year, right? Buenos
Aires. No, that was 2 years ago.
Okay, I just forget that even exists, fam.
Buenos Aires.
No, that was 2020. No, it was June. No, it was June 2019. Okay, woo.
Okay, I was about to say last year. Okay. That was a great song for the weird reason.
All right, next segment. What defines K-pop in 2020? So these are just the main trends we felt summarize what happens. And this was not only what we decided on, but it was also with the help of the SojuTalk Nation in our Discord, because I asked it as a question of the day. But what we came to a consensus on was BTS supremacy, COVID-19, TikTok, online concerts plus technology, retro/neutro, pre-releases, and English tracks. And I think we should also couple big hit supremacy with BTS at the top.
Yes, as a company, for sure.
I do feel like they had separate lines, they had separate narratives going into it. But it was kind of cool to see how they were separate storylines, but they were paralleling each other. I was like, wow.
Yeah, BTS sold a gajillion albums, came over with Dynamite Dominated. And then big hit, I don't want to say they went corporate because that's a bad way to put it, but I think the better way to put it is they grew so much this year as a company.
Right.
The expansion was real.
The quickest expansion I've seen.
Obviously, COVID-19 was a big deal, the biggest deal in 2020, regardless of K-pop, because as I always like to say, there are things that are bigger than K-pop, and I think we should all just remember that. TikTok kind of popped off for K-pop with any song. And then I think it kind of got saturated real quick by the summer, and it kind of is sort of died down at this point.
It kind of died down a little bit, yeah.
And then in response to COVID, though, online concerts were a big thing. And then technology. And that's not just big hit, because SM also tripled down on that too. And then obviously pre-releases was another response to COVID, because of people were like, if we can't do promotions in person, we might as well release more music. So I think that was a
ton of music, yeah.
And with that, we got a lot of English tracks, specifically from Blackpink and BTS. So the big players started to release English tracks.
Twice
and we'll have to see if Twice does it in the future, but that might be spoiling something I'm going to mention later in the show. But then the final thing, the musical trend this year. Retro/neutro was the thing this year, for sure.
So many people did this.
It was cool seeing so many different interpretations of it, right? It wasn't one way to do neutro, right? Sock City did retro of the 90s in Korea. Synthwave was a whole thing. Disco was a whole thing, and then Trot in general, right? Everything.
Trot too.
Trot.
Trot should be mentioned. Trot's not super mentioned on our show because it's not considered pure K-pop, but it is big in Korea for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, certain songs with that neutral retro stuff like the Twice song. For sure, the Everglow La Di Da was big. Things like that. Of course,
G-Friend.
shout out to JYP for being like the first one on the train with when we disco. He really
Shout out
kinda
to the
knew what he-
weekend.
Yeah, shout out to the weekend too. But I think that's what we think defines K-pop in 2020. If you have other things you want to add, please let us know in the comment section or in the SojuTalk Talk channel on Discord. But predictions from 20. Okay, so these are the predictions we made last year for 2020, right?
Oh boy.
We looked back at that,
man.
like what happened last year. I think the average amount was like 14 per person, and then Warren had like 25 or 7 or something.
Yeah, I don't think I read all of them, and that was a good option.
So
Good
we're not gonna go through all of them. What we decided to do was we're gonna go in a circle, and we each picked 3 of our predictions that were spot on, and 3 of them that were big oofs. So let's do the spot on ones first. So my first one, the number might not be right, but I predicted that Blackpink would have 2 comebacks but no solo activities.
Ooh,
That's
Wow.
pretty good, right?
that's pretty good.
You're off by 1, but yeah.
If we don't count ice cream, I was correct
Yeah.
100% with that one, right?
I mean, given how I laughed at you last year when you said that, I think that was very spot on.
Right?
You know, like-
Yeah, not bad.
I was like, Blackpink with a comeback? No way.
All right, Anita, hit us with your first spot on prediction from last year.
So I don't know if it's completely spot on because think I had the timing a little off, but I said that Treasure 13 or now Treasure would debut before the second half of the year. They actually did it in the second half, but overall their debut actually happened, which was a big concern in 2019.
They got like 3 songs too in 2020.
Yeah.
And we also
Really
had,
surprised.
and if you have the Wayo song from Bangyeodam, that's like 4 treasure related songs.
True. I like how in the script you wrote "please" in parentheses.
Yeah. In quotation
man.
marks, there's please. And
Gotta happen.
all right, one was your first spot on one, Warren?
My first spot on prediction was expansion of Neutro. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
that was
That is-
really spot
okay.
on.
so spot on.
When I saw this on the script, what you wrote, I wanted to make sure you didn't plagiarize it. You didn't. You literally
No.
said that last year, dude.
Yeah.
That is the most spot on thing I think out of everything we're gonna say. That's
This
kind
year
of
was
nuts.
the year. Yeah, it was the year of Neutro. People thought last year was. Nope, y'all are all wrong. This was the year.
Oh, and I forgot. Obviously, Neutral was the big deal. Another thing that defined K-pop in 2020 was the lack of the dark concept overall.
Yeah, not as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved on from that black-red stuff. But all right, my second spot on one, maybe not all the groups, but I said that NCT, ATEEZ, TXT, and Stray Kids all rise and become top-tier boy groups.
Yeah.
That's pretty spot on.
That's spot on. Yeah.
I think out of those 4, ATEEZ might have had they had a good year, but not compared to the other 3. I think that NCT clearly was crazy good this year. Stray Kids had the biggest jump out of any group, and then
Oh yeah.
TXT with like Can't You See Me and Blue Hour also had a pretty great year as
Yeah.
well.
Right. Can I actually go right after that? Because mine is very similar.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
'Cause my second prediction was next year is a crucial year for NCT, BTS, Blackpink, and Red Velvet.
Oh, that's so spot on, dude.
and notice how I said crucial, because I felt like this year, if they don't really make it and make a big impact, it's gonna have a lasting like problem for the rest of their careers. And NCT did so big, BTS did so well, Blackpink blew up. Red Velvet had their issues, but I'm sure they'll do fine next year.
Yeah, that's like a to be continued. I'm very because if
Yes.
you think about it effectively, we got the unit stuff with Sugi and Irene, but then that kind of gets canceled out by the Irene scandal stuff towards the end. So effectively, they're starting from like Psycho again, more or less.
Yeah,
I would
because
say.
they couldn't do group promotions too, right? From the beginning of
Yeah,
the year.
so we're gonna have to see what happens with them. But Anita, what was your second spot on prediction?
My second thing was that I predicted that Hwasa was going to have another single EP and that it was going to do really well.
Oh,
So
man.
Maria came out and that was a big
on
hit.
point.
That
you know?
was very
Yeah.
spot on.
We were really wondering if she could build on the success of Mongchongi Twit
Yes,
from
that
from
was the thing.
2019. She completely delivered on that with Maria, I would say, especially on the how viral it went in Korea as a whole. All right, my third spot on prediction: YG Treasure Boys boy group rookie of the year.
Oh.
Okay.
So that's if you think about that, I not only predicted that they debuted, right? But I predicted that they would get Rookie of the Year, and they've won it consistently on most award shows.
Possibly
Nice.
vote for Treasure as Rookie of the Year last week because of this prediction.
Did I? No, I had them as Rookie of the Year for the longest time, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think that was pretty spot on.
That was very spot on, yeah.
Shout out to one of our mods, Koala. She's like the biggest Treasure fan I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
That's a thing. All right, Anita, what was your third and final spot on prediction?
So my prediction for 2020 was that NCT would have a new unit. So this is kind of spot on because I left it very vague. I didn't know if they were gonna have like an ex NCT Dream type of thing or a mix of other units or new members, and it ended up being like a mixture of everything with NCT 2020 and their resident stuff. So it kind of did happen like that. It's just not as I would expected.
Also, Mark came back to the Dreams, right?
Yeah, he did.
So that was something in itself. Finally, Warren, what was your third spot on thing?
My third one was a minoritization or a subculturization of idol culture away from the mainstream culture. I gotta explain this a little bit.
Yes.
It's not a good thing or a bad thing. I last year felt like idol culture and like the K-pop that we consume is moving away from the mainstream channels of K-pop or Korean pop music in general, and I kind of saw that kind of happening this year, more and more. Yeah.
No, I kind of agree. So I'm someone who watches a ton of variety shows, right? That's honestly the main way I've taught myself Korean over the past like 5 years. Is just by watching a lot of Korean TV. Idols appear with an increase. How do I say this? Idols appear less and less on Korean variety shows and TV, and when they do appear, you can tell that no one else knows who they are, and that's becoming more and more of a trend. Like it's to the point now. Like let's say idols used to just come out on Running Man all the time, right? Or a show like that. And instantly the crew would be like, "Oh, that's this girl's generation. That's Sunny, or that's Tiffany, right? Wow." Nowadays, it's like they bring on idols, and like Wonyoung was on Running Man, and they're like, "Eyes one?" Question mark. And you have to think she was the girl who placed number 1 on Produce 48.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
she's supposed to be a big deal. Like she's supposed to be like, "Oh, that's Sejong, yo, what's up?" Like, or that's Somi, yo, like that level. It's just not like that. And there was one episode where Everglow came out. I don't know how they got on the show. They came out twice actually.
Wow.
And like
Did
they even made it a point that no one knew who they were. Like that was
man.
one of the things. And it's becoming more and more like that, I think.
I feel like it comes and goes in waves, right? Like
Yeah.
we've been listening to Korean music for like what 10 years now at this point. We've seen it come and go in waves. This year I feel like the big factor that played into it was was Trot leading in from last year, and then I for a while had predicted like hip hop is gonna just go back into like its own little corner of the industry. That kind of didn't happen. So I think these other genres are like becoming bigger players in the culture. Eventually, we're gonna see another like a golden era of relevance again. With the
It's just kind of weird. Because like a lot of the times now they just bring on idols as like filler guests instead of like the main guest. Is the way I'll put it. It's just a little strange. All right, oofs from our predictions. All right, my first was the biggest oof in the world in all caps. I wrote more world tours. Now, that's not really my fault. Like, come on. We were
going to be right. You were
we
going
were
to be
set
right.
for that. We were gonna do KCON. We heard Blackpink was gonna have a world tour.
Right.
We had the
BTS.
Everglow
Yes.
one, BTS. Anita wanted to go to the 80s one. You remember that whole ticket
Yeah.
fiasco?
Oh man,
And
yeah.
I was like, yo, Red Velvet too. I'm gonna have to go to like 6 concerts this year, like, and I was like praying for an IZ*ONE thing, and Luna was set to do stuff too. Those were all things in the works.
Yo, rappers were doing world tours too. Like I was.
Oh yeah,
supposed
you want to go to Changmo.
I was supposed
Yeah.
to go to Changmo and Paul Blanco's world tour.
And that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's an oof, but I don't think it's my fault it's an oof.
Oh,
right?
no.
So
Yeah.
that's one of those. All right, Anita, what was your first big oof?
My first one was that I predicted that BTS would have some other Western artist collaboration, kind of like with Boy with Love, for a title track, but that wasn't the case. They did something completely on their own thing, and they did really well. So yeah.
They appeared on one track with some other people, but it wasn't their track, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I remember correctly.
Didn't,
I don't know off the
didn't
top
they
of
have
my head.
didn't they have a couple singles, the world stuff, with a couple foreign artists? I forget.
I don't know. You're asking the wrong people, dude.
Okay.
No, but I agree because you remember the Halsey Boy with Love thing. That
Yes,
was such a
that's-
big deal that I guess
yeah.
that's where Anita was placing that prediction with.
Mm.
But Warren, what was your first big oof?
My first biggest doof was that I predicted that Show Me the Money. Oh, sorry, Mnet will beat the dead horse out of Show Me the Money. But other than that, I thought they're not
Nah.
gonna do any survival shows. I thought it's gonna be gone. But little did I know, Kingdom came back, kind of.
Road to Kingdom, yeah.
Right. Island was a thing. It was huge.
Yeah,
I was like,
that's
oh,
an
man.
interesting.
Big
Oh, I
surprise.
looked up the BTS stuff. They were on that. Okay, I'm gonna butcher his name. The LAUV Love,
Love, yeah.
featuring BTS, and then they were on the Savage Love song. So those two were kind of big. But is it my turn? My final oof? I gotta find a
Yeah.
oof. All right,
Isn't your second oof?
was it second oof? It must
Second
have been
oof,
second.
yep.
Yeah.
All right, I lost my place in the script. I'm back.
Oh no.
Red Velvet Girl Group of the Year. I took my shot with that one, y'all. But within the month of January, I was already wrong about that one. So that's actually probably my biggest oof. That's another one where who could have seen the circumstances? They didn't have a regular year,
Yeah.
so. But
Yeah.
that one, I predicted it just didn't happen. Yeah. So Anita, what's your
Bad.
second one?
For me, I feel like it's dependent on my expectations, right? But I predicted that SM's new girl group would have a really big debut as a hit. And I guess my terms for being a hit was like winning a lot of music shows and they're charting #1, that kind of stuff. And I feel like it didn't quite happen that way like I expected it to. Not to say that aespa's debut was not successful, but it was not successful in the same way that I thought it would happen because they didn't take the route I thought they were gonna go.
Yeah,
So,
there
very
was no
interesting.
pre-release. They just
Yeah.
heavy on the concept, low on the music, which I thought was a
Exactly.
really weird route. Warren, what was your second oof? Oh, this one's crazy. Okay.
I mean, I took a big risk by saying this, but I said GD and Taeyong are gonna leave YG Entertainment.
Yeah,
Oh.
that just didn't happen, bro.
So if you listened to the pod a year ago, you will probably recall that I was making fun of YG like every week. It was just constant, and I was like, "There's no way they're gonna sign again. Like, there's no way." That clearly didn't happen, and they're still there, and Big Bang is still a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were supposed to have a comeback, the Coachella stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was even after the Sungri stuff from last year. That we were still like, yo, they still gonna do it, but just never happened. I'm surprised though they didn't just transition to just do something in Korea then after that. I'm kind of surprised about that.
Yeah.
All right,
GD
my
dropped the shoe.
third one. This is a bit of a. I was a bit wrong in a good way for me. So the third one was IZ*ONE releases Fiesta. That happened. Cool.
Yes.
But the second
Right.
part was I said they're only going to release one more 8-track and then a goodbye song. I've clearly been very wrong with that.
Yeah.
Not only
I mean-
did we get 2 big releases with EP/album stuff, right? I think we're on track for at least 1 or 2 more before the goodbye stuff now.
Looks like it, yeah. I feel like you were saying this because you were worried that Fiesta wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think that's the
Right.
mind frame I was in. So that's a big oof in a good way, I would say.
Right,
'cause none of my fears really came true about IZ*ONE, and they're doing better
It was
than
a-
ever right now.
It was a spot on oof.
Hey, if you told me they would be like top 3 sales for girl groups in 2020 last year, you would call me crazy, I think.
Right. It's this is like one of those situations where you go to a deli and get a sandwich that and you get something wrong. You mess up your order and you're like all sad, and then you open it and it's like, oh, it's actually really good.
Yeah, and I'm like, give me some more of that. But Anita, what was your third oof?
My third
Oh, that's
one.
an oof. That was an oof. Anita.
Yes.
You
was that I predicted because I thought that new girl groups would lean more towards an innocent, youthful debut type of vibe, and shift from the girl crush. And this really was not the case in general. The only exception that I would say kind of went into this route was Weekly. And
Okay.
I really liked their debut. But yeah, in general, there was no really big shift.
They have like a high teen thing, like high school
Yeah,
vibe
yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
Ooh, high teen.
Yeah. Other than that, everyone's kind of doing either neutro stuff or just like more EDM-ish stuff as a whole,
Yes.
I would say. All right, Warren. What was your last oof? Oh, this one. Jesus Christ. This is not that great
Going
either.
back to my genre thing, I thought minimalist genres are gonna become. I thought they would be big. You know, as I remember, GOT7 had their minimalist track, and I was like, oh man, this is so fire. Let's get more of this. I want more of this. No more Moombathon. You know, I wanted minimalism. That didn't happen.
Nah, that was just kind of an. Overall, though, I was looking at them. It's like we had some good predictions, some bad ones, but overall, it was more like in the middle where we got like half of them right or wrong. That was the overall.
Yeah.
I kind of struggled to pick the ones that I thought were like really good or really bad, which means we're not terrible at them, but maybe we'll be terrible this year. So the 2021 predictions from the crew. You could hold us accountable next year with these. All right, let's go around. My first one. I'm rolling the dice on this. In-person concerts in the fall. In the United States.
Oh dear.
Okay.
I know Ticketmaster has said they want to do it, right?
Right.
Can we do it?
Let's see if they can, because I'll double down. I think if it happens, you're going to have to be able to prove that you've gotten the vaccine to go.
Of course, yeah.
I think that's going to be a heavy requirement, and maybe they'll reduce the capacity. So that leaves me a little bit scared about the BTS one that I have tickets for, because they sold out the whole thing clearly. So how are they going to do that?
Add dates?
Maybe they'll double the dates, so it's half the capacity. Who knows? So that's my first prediction. Bold. I think by fall, I don't think the America and the world is going to be back to normal 100%, but I think it'll be normal to the most where it'll be an acceptable risk level at that point.
I think so as well. I hope so.
All right,
as well,
Anita,
at least.
what's your first prediction?
My first prediction, kind of riding off of the later half of this year, but I think more groups are going to be doing title tracks in English, kind of going into that Western market. But I feel like I feel like we've seen big competitors try to do that, like SM with NCT, JYP with Twice, kind of starting off right now. But I think even smaller groups might even try to do this now, like just doing a full-on English track. I think is possible.
I feel like that's the safest prediction anyone can make. Anita.
Is it?
I mean, Luna's already been doing this, right? I don't know if they count as a smaller group, but like
Dude, Starlight, woohoo,
right.
buddy. All right, Warren, what's your first prediction?
I'm still much excited about how spot on I was with my first prediction last year. So I'm gonna say Neutro is gonna keep going strong until at least the first half of 2020. So that's like stuff like disco and synthwave.
That's pretty safe. Yeah,
I think it's going. I think honestly, disco and synthwave it started popping off near the second half of last year. Oh, sorry, this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I sure you might say Korea trends moves very quickly. But I don't think we moved that quickly. It's only been half a year, guys. I think we'll savor it for a little longer until we get sick of it.
I'm gonna get rid of my second one because it was similar to what Anita said, more English title tracks, and mine was basically that Twice was gonna do that. So I'm getting rid of it. I'm gonna make a on the fly one for my last one. I guess.
Okay.
But my second one then is going to be all right. This is a me talking this into existence. Blackpink solos will finally happen in 2021, guys. I'm telling you right now, it gonna happen. We gonna get that Rose solo. We gonna get a Jisoo solo. We gonna get a Lisa solo. We'll probably get a second Jennie one.
Do you really think it will happen all in 1 year though, or just the beginning of more solos?
YOLO, it's gonna happen, Anita. It's gonna happen.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if like at the end of next year they're like, oh, we have confirmed it for 2022.
Yeah, that's probably actually what's gonna happen. But it is what it is. Anita, hit us with your second prediction.
So my second one also goes more into musical trends and sounds. But there's this genre that's kind of popping off, kind of like subgenre, really not quite in the mainstream yet, but it's hyperpop. So hyperpop is kind of like, think of pop, but like to the max, right? So all of the elements of pop, full 100. And I think it will have some spots in the limelight with K-pop, but not 100%. And I feel like it might happen this way because it's kind of an acquired taste, I guess. I don't think a ton of people might be up for it in mainstream media, but it might have like a really good song. Like if a really popular group gets like a really good produced track, it might blow up. So I think that's really possible. I think one of the groups that I was thinking might suit this type of sound was Stacy, actually, because they had a really good debut.
Oh, Stacy.
I can kind of see
Yeah.
that. I can kind of see that.
Black Eyed Peas might want to do that up, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was my second prediction as well. Except I was a lot more optimistic about hyperpop. I think it's gonna take the main limelight. You know?
Oh, really?
I think it'll be. Yeah, I think it'll be the thing next year. And hyperpop is one of those things that it's difficult to explain, but to give K-pop references, this year we had 24 Hours by ITZY. That was produced by Sophie herself, which is one of the biggest producers.
Oh,
of
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you had Signature Track, which I mentioned last week. Fun is also kind of hyperpop track. Do you know what that is? Fun? Let me try to.
From us?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the From Us Night song.
Right. That was also in that direction a little bit. And then if you go into indie, there's like Sumin, Omega Sapien.
This is like a derivative of sort of what people were calling the noise music, right? It's somewhat
Kind
in
of.
that region, right?
Kind of,
It's in
right.
that region.
If you listen to American music at all, it's like Dua Lipa, 100 Gex, Charlie XCX. Yeah, that's what I meant. Not Dua Lipa, that's disco. But I think this is really I've seen it really gain a lot of steam in the indie scene this year.
Yeah.
And usually when that happens, it goes
Kree gets
straight
it the
into
year
mainstream.
after. Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
So
you talked about ITZY, right?
yeah, ITZY. I think they'll do a lot of stuff like 24 Hours.
Let me double down on ITZY, right, guys?
Oh,
they
okay.
will be the girl group of the year in 2021.
Oh,
I think this is the pop off year for ITZY coming up. I think they're gonna do 3 songs and it's gonna pop off. They're gonna sell like 800 to 1 million albums.
Whoa.
800,000 to a million. Not 800. 800,000 to 1 million albums next year.
Okay, that's.
I
can
think
kind of see it happening.
I think they're gonna pop off, dude. Like, I think that I'm not gonna say that Twice is handing the torch, but I think that JYP, both girl groups, are gonna have really good years. But ITZY's going to, like, you know how Stray Kids had a, like, I don't think Stray Kids is like top yet, but they had a gigantic jump. I think that's gonna happen with ITZY next year.
I think I kind of want that to happen, to be honest. I kind of want to
it'd
see
be
that
fun.
happen. Right.
I think the combination of what Koreans think about ITZY and how big they are in the West, if we open up the globe a little bit more again by fall,
second half,
it's really set up for them to do that, I think.
Right.
All right, Anita, third prediction. This one's kind of cool. I like this
Third
one.
prediction. So around the time where NCT 2020 was announced, SM also announced that they're doubling down on the NCT concept and starting to do more units in the future. And they mentioned NCT Japan, and that was like the first one that they really said, like, this is in the works, it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna debut next year, second half. And I think I wouldn't even say first half, because Produce 101 Japan second season will be happening in the first half. So I feel like they're going to avoid that kind of competition right now, because it was pretty popular last year. So I think they're going to push it to second half, but I think it's going to happen for sure.
NCT Japan.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Especially given that, like, so much of NCT's like unique model is derivative of like a lot of the Japanese idol market systems.
Yeah, that's true.
I just had a thought. Speaking of Japanese groups,
You had a weird face.
what if Kingdom? What if JOI is one of the groups?
JO1?
JO1.
Oh, that'd be so interesting.
That's not out of they
There's no
they did Korean stuff, right?
It's CJ basically.
Didn't they do something in Korean already? Am I
They did
crazy?
KCON. They were in KCON.
Bro,
They've appeared
I'm
in some
just saying,
content.
They're already connected to the brand.
They are.
You know how hype that, like, I'm not saying it'd be hype, but you know how many, like, how more interested people would be in if they pulled a move like that?
It'd be
It's
so
basically-
interesting.
It's gonna be basically Produce 48 Part 2.
Oh.
No, but they're already in groups. Like, you imagine if you have JO1 going against Stray Kids. Like, that'd be crazy.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Well, that's so interesting.
That's not a prediction. That's just a thought that it would
thought.
be kind of cool. Warren, what was your third prediction?
Mine's a bit of a combination of a lot of guesses people are making. But a lot of people have been saying that next year, once the virus is over and people start going outside without masks, that we're not gonna see any more online stuff, and we're gonna have a lot of on-person concerts again. What Doug said. However, maybe sure, but I think the online presence that K-pop has right now, with the on-tact stuff, online concerts, online fan meetings, I don't think that's gonna go away. I think K-pop companies have learned that it's an easy, cheap gateway to connect with the Western international audience, and I think they're just gonna maximize on it just crazily. I think next year we're gonna see a huge IT technology, fourth cultural revolution, nanoviruses, nanoparticles in your brain.
Not viruses. No more viruses, bro.
Nanoparticles.
Particles.
Nanoparticles.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, my fourth one related to Kingdom. Kingdom gonna happen. We've got that confirmed, right? We got ATs, the boys, and Stray Kids. Y'all know what? Stray Kids gonna win that show. Okay. I'm just saying.
Oh.
That's my fourth prediction. I just feel that the combination of the hype that has been built plus the company backing, because I don't think JYP would put them on the show without thinking they could win it.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And additionally, I would assume that JYP as a company basically told them, we're only going to let you have Stray Kids if you pretty much tell us who else is on the show. Right? That seems realistic because how powerful they are. So I think they have a semblance of knowing who's on the show, and they put Stray Kids in a good situation.
So basically, you're trusting Mr. JYP's judgment and evaluation.
I mean, fam, I got ITZY Girl Group of the Year, and I have Stray Kids winning Kingdom. So JYP is going to have a great year, according to me. Anita, what's your fourth prediction?
My fourth prediction is half wish list and also half kind of confirmed, but with the return of Minho from SHINee and Onyu also this year, and Key, like all the people that have served in the military have all finally returned. I think SHINee's gonna have a full group comeback / album. I think they've kind of teased it in V Lives, but I feel like it's really gonna become a reality next year for sure. A big project for them.
Okay, I like that. I think Taemin did a really good job holding the fort while they were gone.
Yeah,
he's been keeping busy, and I know Key rejoined that Do Re Mi Market show that he was on previously before the military. So he's already doing stuff, and he was already on the online show with Yeti from Red Velvet. He was already a guest on there too, so he's already making moves. I like that though. I'm interested to see what their sound would be because they've done sort of retro-y stuff in the past. So
yeah, a little bit earlier.
They're gonna double down on that. All right, Warren, did you already do your fourth one? No, you didn't. Hit us with the fourth one.
Yeah. I think
you have said this, right? I think.
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I think. Here's what I think. I think Blackpink's The Album was a great kickoff to a new trend we're gonna see. I think we're gonna get a lot of lightweight full-length albums this year in 2021. Oh. By lightweight, I'm talking about shorter. Maybe in the running time, maybe in the track listing, maybe both. I think, we're going to get a lot of those next year, lots of 8-track, 9-track full-length albums. I think there was a lot of eyes on how financially successful it was. And people are going to be like, oh, okay, let's save money where we can, make it a little shorter than we have to. And then just going to drop it like there's no tomorrow, just drop. So I'm kind of excited for that because usually I'm a big fan of full-length projects, little less fan of the shorter ones, but
here's the thing,
something better than nothing.
If we think about one of the business models of just selling physicals, like if they just keep releasing physicals, fans will probably still buy them. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm surprised that it hasn't even happened already, where people are like, all right, we're just gonna release like 4-track things with 2 remixes. We'll just release like 5 of them this year, see how many the fans will buy. Like,
just push it. Yeah.
It might happen, dude. Like, we'll have to see. All right, my fifth one. I wrote this one up while we were talking because I got rid of one of them before. All right, number 1, IZ*ONE will probably disband. That's already kind of set in stone in the spring. But I think that we will already have at least one residual group, meaning that members from IZ*ONE debut in a different group by the end of the year.
Oh,
okay.
Because if we think of something like Gravity, right? X1
Yes.
disbanded in January. They already had a group by like May, like something
They were
like
ready.
that happened. They're ready. I'm assuming that, of course, all of the companies that the IZ*ONE kids are from have been planning stuff like since the kids got into
Oh
IZ*ONE.
yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if by the fall someone's in a group. My guess, though, if I have to make a bold prediction,
Yeah,
the Starship
guess.
Girl group will happen by the fall
Oh.
with Yujin and Wonyoung.
I have a quick question as a to a whiz one here, right? Like,
Yep.
what do you think is gonna happen to the 3 AKB kids?
I think that Sakura is going to go back to Japan and instantly leave AKB and become an actress, like she's always said in interviews that's her goal.
Okay.
I think that's fine. Or she might just come to Korea and do variety and stuff because she's pretty popular and she's
Yeah.
also expressed that she likes doing that.
That's true. She's good friends with Kang Ho-dong.
Now, if I know correctly, I'm not 100% sure. Isn't the AKB situation kind of poo-poo right now?
Yeah. As that. Is the other part
Isn't it
of
like
that
the
word.
worst that it's ever been, right?
It just keeps going down and down.
You
and
want
down
another
and down.
bold prediction? One of out of Nako and Hitomi is going to leave Japan and come to Korea and join a Korean agency and do a jury.
Oh.
You like that? You like that? That's kind of
good
spicy.
Okay.
I think Hitomi's more likely because she's younger
Yes.
and she really likes K-pop as what I can tell.
I think what's really interesting about Hitomi is that like Nako was already really big in Japan, right?
Exactly.
Hitomi just
Blew
she had
up.
Yeah. Sweet taste of success.
Hey,
why? You know, I just came to Korea and
You know,
was like,
WM, they have Oh My Girl. It seems like they're going to build a group against with Cheon. You need members for that with Cheon as the leader. Hitomi is a good dancer too.
Yes, she is.
she is.
Kind of would fit, you know? Just saying. Well, I'll talk about more about my projections for the IZ*ONE kids once the disband happens. Hopefully it doesn't, but you know, it's most realistically will. But Anita, hit us. Do you like that though? Residual groups. Hitomi coming to
Yes.
Korea.
That's
I
a
gotta
good
say it a
one.
bunch of stuff. Yeah, all right, Anita, hit us with your final prediction.
My final prediction has to do more with the newly debuted girl groups. And the two that I'm really thinking are going to have significant comebacks are Weekly and aespa.
Weekly.
And I think both of them are going to lead very different paths as far as like their sound and concept. But I think they're going to pop off next year. I feel like the aespa comeback is going to be highly anticipated. All eyes are on them essentially. So I feel like they're really going to push the next comeback. And I think it's going to be a little bit more immediately successful than Black Mamba. And for Weekly, I think they're riding a really good wave ending this year with like a lot of really good Rookie of the Year awards. So I feel like they're really good, really well set up for another really successful comeback. And that might be the one that puts them on more general public view. So yeah, I think that might happen.
Can I make a sub prediction about aespa since we're here?
Sure.
I think they're gonna back off from a lot of the technology stuff by the end of the year.
That's really possible.
I'm not saying the SM going technology route and there's being some kind of universe, but I think the stuff with the avatars and stuff, like we haven't seen it, right? Like
Yeah.
it's surprising to me as how hard they pushed it in the pre-release stuff. We've literally gotten like almost nothing since about it. I'm gonna predict that eventually they'll back down a little from it.
I feel like it can go two ways, right? I feel like they'll commit really to the technological virtual reality aspect and try to connect that into a fandom focused profit model. I feel like if SM wanted to connect with the general population, they're gonna back away from the whole technology thing.
Yeah.
Technology
Yeah, because people like aespa in general. No.
Yeah.
People like aespa in general. The general reception to the whole virtual reality character thing, that thing didn't have the best reception. to be
Yeah,
frank.
I watched the video of like how to like they asked Korean people on the street how you feel about aespa, and most people are like they're really pretty and they're talented, but I don't know about the VR stuff. Like
They have no clue about that.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Warren.
Weekly, I think is one more thing. I think Weekly is gonna really connect with their fans.
Yes.
Yes. They're on Weverse.
I don't-
You know.
I'm gonna guess that they're not gonna even try to connect the general public.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the opposite. Interesting.
so. Sort
Okay.
of like a I don't want to say like a Japanese model, but that kind of thing. Like we go triple down on the fan club aspect?
I think they're gonna really model themselves after the whole IZ*ONE model that really happened this year and last year.
That's fair. All right. Interesting. Warren, hit us with your last one.
This one is a bit of a reach. But I kind of wanted to mention it.
Yeah.
I wrote that there's gonna be a lot of independency of major K-pop artists, and I wrote non-idol, but whatever. I'll add idols as well. I think the biggest one that popped into my head was Akdong Musician. Akmu.
Ooh.
Okay.
I will mark my words. I think they're gonna make their own company.
Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
To be frank, I don't know if both of them will be in it, but
I think they
Chanyeok
will.
at least. Chanyeok at least.
Chanyeok will eventually have his own company. 100% in my eyes, at least.
And next year, 2021, is when their contract is over.
Oh.
Setting it up.
Yeah. But I did notice that this is a rising trend as of recent. KOZ was 2019, but that happened. Ravi went into making his own company. I think I can't
Blue
think
Vinyl
of
with Yedin.
Victorine, yeah.
right. Peggy Band is still supposed to come back. That didn't happen. But
And then
I
CL,
think,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you want full solo. I think we're gonna get a lot more of that next year, as there's and also there's a lot of groups that are hitting their 7-year points. So I think something might happen. We got Red Velvet hitting their 7th year, Mamamoo in their 7th year, GOT7 in their 7th year,
Yeah.
Lovely's on their 7th year,
Oh my
Winner
gosh.
on their 7th year, La Boom on their 7th year. Big 7-year players. You know what they say about 7 years.
What do they say, Warren? Is there an actual thing they say?
Yeah, they say the McDonald's tastes really good.
I know what you mean though. 7 years normally, like you either double up and get a longer contract, or like it's pretty much over for some groups.
So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of excited.
And for some groups, it's not over, but they're just kind of phased out, and it's awkward for like another 4 years. But I like that one. I also think with these rise of independent artists, they have more freedom to collab with other people because it's not as big. It's easier to be like, hey, Chanyeok, if he goes independent, I want to be in a song, or like, hey, do you got something we could work on together? Versus calling YG up and being like, can I work with Chanyeok? I think it's two totally different situations.
Yeah.
All right, so those are our predictions. You could hold us to them next year. The majority are probably half right or wrong, so that's a thing. But 2020 as a whole, I know that the global situation was probably obviously the worst it's ever been in our lifetimes.
Yeah.
K-pop though had a really good year as a whole in terms of album sales, in terms of the music that came out. It seems like an up year if you minus out the pandemic. Hopefully world gets back together. As SojuTalk though, like we had a great year too. I think the Discord was very instrumental for keeping my sanity. The community we built has gotten really strong and close knit. If you want to join our community though, it's not saying that you can't. Like, please come join. We're friendly. You could talk to us. That being said, we also, like, in terms of our numbers, they're all up, which has been cool. Even though we had a pandemic dip for sure, because people listen to podcasts when they're at work or they're commuting a lot of the time. So we definitely had a pandemic dip, but then we popped off internationally. Like, we popped off in India so hard for some reason. Shout out to India.
Shout out to India.
We went viral for a little. It's come back down to earth. Like, it's still way higher because we're in the Indian market now. But like, our numbers are higher than they've ever been on average. If you compare it to last year at this time, it's nuts. Yeah. Hopefully we could keep building on that. I know we're still having a generally good time as long as we're producing the content we like. So that's why if there's ever a little bit changes, that's the reason. Because as much as we're making the content for the nation at home, we still have to enjoy making it, I would say.
I do feel like this, honestly, I thought we're gonna hit like record lows in terms of like numbers.
Yeah.
Like I literally thought we're gonna go back to like getting like 100 downloads per month or something like that. Like, that clearly didn't happen. So I was, sure, maybe there was a bit of a dip, but I was still pretty excited. I was like, wow, why are they still listening? They're not going to work. They're not, maybe they're still doing homework. I don't know. Like, but that was super exciting.
So shout out to the nation, because like, I know we do it for ourselves, but without you guys, we probably have way less motivation to do it, to record the podcast. It's been fun. Hopefully with the situation getting better, we could have more fun content. We were supposed to go to KCON. That was supposed to be our big thing this year. Hopefully it could eventually happen in the future so we can meet some of you in person. But until then, if you want to reach us, you know how. Social media, Discord, that type of thing. This is our last thing for 2020. We'll see you guys in January, either next week or the week after that. It's been real fun, though. I'm Doug. I'd like to thank Warrenita for joining me this entire year of 2020.
Yay.
We'll see you guys in 2021. Hopefully the world is better then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. See you next year.
Special shoutouts to our Fiesta patrons: Based, Mina, Jenai, Goku Mama, Jacob, Luke Daniels, Malfiar, NJ Parks, OP, Chris, Tier. Thank you for joining SojuTalk, your weekly shot of K-pop. And special thanks to our Discord server mods: Jacob, K-Music Erday, Koala, Malfiar, Max, No Bias Luna, Tuggles, and Wolf297.